Hi, I'm Larry Richardson, your step-by-step chef. In this episode, we're going to make a delicious meal that's extremely portable. It is brown rice, which is whole grain and very good for you, chicken, mushrooms, and vegetable rice bowl. You will absolutely love this dish. It looks complicated, but it's very, very simple to make. So come on, let's cook. So here are the ingredients for our chicken, mushroom, and vegetable rice bowl. The first thing we're going to use is a whole grain rice. In this case, I'm using a brown rice. You can also use a wild rice. Any rice that's really hearty and healthy is what we're shooting for, because all of these other ingredients can stand up and make that taste good. Because I know most of us like white rice, but we need to get more of these whole grains into our diet. The next thing we're going to use is 1 pound of boneless, skinless chicken breast. We're going to use half a cup of sliced celery. We're going to use half a cup of sliced zucchini. We're going to use about 3/4 to a cup of sliced mushrooms, and I'm using the baby Bella mushrooms, but white mushrooms are fine too. We're going to use a 1/4 cup of minced red onion, sweet or yellow onion, or even white onion's fine too. We're going to use 2 garlic cloves, and we're going to use about a 1/4 to a half cup of green onion and about a 1/4 cup of sweet red pepper. We're also going to use 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil and a tablespoon or 2 of soy sauce. You'll add that to taste. So those are the basic ingredients for our chicken and mushroom rice bowl. Let me show you how to put this together. And the first thing I did is I started the rice. So start the rice now. Prepare 6 cups according to the directions on the bag or box. The instructions are always a little bit different with each kind of rice. So what I want to do now is I already rinsed these mushrooms off and all the other vegetables, and I just want to slice it small. This is a dish where we want bite-sized little pieces. Not quite minced, a little bit bigger than minced, but you do want it small. And these mushrooms will cook down much tinier. So you don't have to be too crazy about it, but just kind of chop them up and try not to leave pieces that are too big. So I'm just going to go through this whole pile of mushrooms and chop them up just like this. And we're just putting this right into our bowl, which we'll do with all the vegetables. I'm not going to bore you and make you watch me chop this whole thing, but I'll be right back. Okay, our mushrooms are all chopped and in the bowl. Now, if you end up with a little more vegetable than you anticipated, no problem. The vegetables are good for you. So that is just fine. I like it with a little bit more veg. And what we're going to do with the celery is just cut it lengthwise in half. And then just give it a nice thin cut. Nice and thin. Again, we're looking for bite-sized pieces, and none of these ingredients should overtake the others. And if you notice the different vegetables that I'm using, they all have like a really neat, slightly different texture, which texture can really make a big difference in a dish like this. And to have something a little crunchy like the celery makes a huge difference. I love celery. And there we go. There's our celery right into the bowl. And here comes our sweet red pepper. Now you can use green pepper if you want, but this sweet red pepper adds a kind of a different taste. It doesn't have that slight bitterness that a green pepper can have. And this too we're going to cut very thin. And I only want about a 1/4 cup of this. I wouldn't go overboard with the red pepper. It adds a nice sweetness to the dish, and it also adds a splash of color. So it's really nice in the presentation to see something a little bit lively in the middle of that rice bowl. I'll add just a little bit more of that. Next up is our green onion. Now, I use the green onion and the red onion because they really, even though they're both called onion, they have a slightly different taste. And green onion really makes these kind of earthy dishes for me. It's just so delicious and so, I don't know, it just has a different pizzazz to it than regular onion. I guess if you could say something tastes green, green onion tastes green, and you'll find it in so many Asian dishes, tasty Asian dishes, and it just adds something to them. And just give it a nice thin cut. And now here comes our red onion. Now, as you can tell, I did use this in a different show, but I'm putting very thin lines on the top. I want this to be minced. I do not want big chunks of onion in this dish. Everything is supposed to meld together into this kind of a rustic, earthy rice bowl celebration. So I'm just going perpendicular to the first lines, and I can see that the cuts are nice and close together. And then I'm just going to slice down the front, and I'll end up with my 1/4 cup of red onion. And red onion is delicious. Every onion has a slightly different personality, and red onion can be kind of hot and spicy. There we go. And here comes our zucchini. And with the zucchini, I'm just slicing it lengthwise. I won't be using this whole zucchini, but even with the zucchini, I just want small pieces. Because I'm also going to saute all of these vegetables together with the chicken. And then we just stir it into the rice, add our little bit of seasoning, and ooh la la, we're in business. So nice and thin sliced. And you can even give this a little extra chop if you want. Like I said, I want nice little pieces. I don't want this to be the zucchini show. So that's going right in. So as you can see, there's a lot of veg to this dish, and that's really good for us. That with the whole grain rice and a boneless, skinless chicken, this is a pretty healthy dish. So I'm going to set this aside and crush our garlic. And here is our garlic. You can add more garlic if you want, but again, this is something where everything's supposed to meld together, so you don't really want the garlic to take over the dish. But it's just a very good seasoning in the background. And the reason I'm putting it in a separate dish is I don't want it to burn or caramelize with the other vegetables. And I really love this press, but if you can't get a press, then just mince the garlic really fine, and that'll do just fine for this dish. And now we're going to do the chicken. And with the chicken, all we're going to do is, first of all, trim off the fat parts. Anything fat or chewy or that has little bones in it, get rid of that. Nobody enjoys that, especially not in a dish that is not meant to involve a knife. This is a dish people need to be able to eat with just a fork. So give the chicken a trimming. Hopefully your butcher did that already, but they don't always. So just trim off these parts. And then we're just going to cut this, just like we did the veggies, into very small pieces. Again, this is something you want to eat with a fork. You don't want to have to use a knife at all. This is perfect for home, but you know, you can take this to work and just heat it up, and you've got this delicious homemade meal at your disposal. It's very portable, these rice dishes. And I'm probably going to do some more of them in Step by Step Chef because they are that delicious. And there's so many different varieties that you can make. It's a very versatile dish. So I'm just going to cut this into small, little bite-sized pieces of chicken, almost like what you'd see in, a good chicken fried rice. And the neat thing about cutting it small is that it will also cook fast too. So this is a dish that you can make very quickly. In fact, our rice just finished and I already set that aside, so it's waiting for these other ingredients. The rice is on deck. And just before I started cutting the chicken, I already put my, my skillet on just below medium heat. So it is preheating right now, because I know it doesn't take me more than the preheat time, about 5 minutes, to chop up this chicken. I'm just going through, making sure there's that not too many thicker pieces snuck through. So be a little diligent when you do this. You don't want whole chicken nuggies in your rice bowl. And here we are at the stove. The skillet has preheated at just under medium. I'm adding my tablespoon of oil. There we go. That's all I need to stir fry this. And we'll start with the chicken. And I like to get the chicken, just starting to brown before I start sauteing the vegetables, because I want to make sure that the chicken cooks all the way through. And I can't be certain every piece is cooked through if it's mixed in with the vegetables. So there we go. Now this could take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes to get this to brown up. Okay, the chicken is starting to brown up nicely, and what I'm going to do now is add 1 tablespoon of our soy sauce to it, and that'll give the chicken a little bit of a distinct taste. And let's just stir that in. And if you see any pieces of chicken that are too big, just cut them with your spatula or whatever you're using. I have a spoon here. And just give them a little cut, make the piece a little bit smaller. And now what I'm going to do is add the vegetables. And let's give them all a nice saute. When they start to appear clear, when the zucchini starts to appear clear, that's when you'll know that this is ready to stir into the rice. And you want the mushrooms to cook down also. And you may have to turn the heat up. I would go up around medium heat, depending on your stove, just to get the process rolling. And I'm still not adding the garlic quite yet because I don't want it to burn or caramelize. But you can see this is a very veggie-rich, in fact, deceptively veggie-rich dish, which I love. I love sneaking the veggies into everything. And now we'll add our 2nd tablespoon of soy sauce, so the veggies pick up some of that taste. And again, this is to taste. If you're not nuts about saltiness or soy sauce, then you can just stick with that 1 tablespoon. We'll just keep giving this a little stir. And if you have a wok, you can certainly do this, more quickly in a wok, but most of us don't. I've moved too many times and given up too many woks that I don't even bother anymore, and these pans are just superb for this anyways. So you can see this is coming along quite nicely. Starting to see some translucency in the veggies. I just want to make sure that the zucchini is starting to show signs of being cooked. Because again, I don't want anything where we have these veggies that are distinctly and decidedly crunchy. I want them to be cooked. Except for the celery. The celery can have a little bit of crunch. And at this point, I will add my beloved garlic. I love garlic. I know I've never said that in any of the first 100 step-by-step chef recipes or videos, but I love my garlic. But you have to admit, I did keep it out of the chocolate ice cream, so that was quite the accomplishment. And even I can see even the mushrooms are starting to cook down quite nicely. So I'm still seeing some zucchini pieces, and I'm using them as our sentinel, that look kind of solid. I want those to start looking translucent, and then we can stir the rice in. And I'm actually going to keep this liquid because it's full of flavor. And I know, yes, the rice might be just a little bit mushier for it, and you can push these aside and let some of that liquid dry up. And if you don't like it at all, you can drain it. But I'm okay with the rice being just slightly less than exactly fluffy in exchange for this delicious broth. It's a chicken vegetable broth that can't be beat. Okay, now I don't want to overcook this. So what I'm seeing is that the zucchini pieces are turning translucent. I'm turning the heat off, and I'm going to stir it into our rice. So here is the rice that we prepared ahead of time, this fluffy rice. And the rice is still hot, so it's not cooling down all the other ingredients. Oh, this is delicious. So you can see that the mix is starting to emerge. It's a nice proportion of rice, this healthy whole grain rice, to veggies and chicken. And you just take this and you eat it out of a bowl, and you might want to add a little bit more soy sauce to it. But you got a meal here. This is a very, very portable and delicious meal. So you can see, you're getting veggies, getting rice, you're getting chicken in every spoonful. So I'll see you in a moment. So congratulations, look at what you just did. You just made this delicious chicken, mushroom, and vegetable whole rice bowl. And this is absolutely delicious. I hope you'll give it a try. It's healthy, it's got a protein, it's got lots of vegetables, and it has a delicious whole grain in it. You just can't beat this. Now I hope you'll go to my website, stepbystepchef.com, for this recipe, which is printable, and printable recipes and video links for dozens and dozens of delicious and healthy meals. Now my name's Larry Richardson, I am your step-by-step chef, and I'll see you in the next episode.